So you're listening because you like to know what's really going on.
Uh-huh.
You want the important info, quick, no messing around.
Exactly.
Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on something you probably interact with, but maybe don't, think about too much.
Right. Online betting software.
Exactly. The tech behind the bet.
Yeah. We all see the big brand names, the sports books we recognize, but there's this whole layer underneath these tech companies.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To look at the sources and figure out just how crucial these background players really are.
Absolutely crucial. One source had a great analogy.
The Formula One thing.
Yeah. Trying to race an F1, but you don't actually have the car.
Right. That's how important these software providers are.
Yeah.
Companies like Combi, SB Tech.
Bet Construct, Playtech, Every Matrix. The list goes on.
You don't see commercials for them generally.
No, but they're the engine. They power so many of the betting platforms people actually use every day.
Okay, so here's something that kind of blew my mind from the sources.
What's that?
That you could have, say, two different betting websites. Seemingly competitors, different logos, different offers.
Right.
But they could actually be running on the exact same software underneath.
It's true. The same odds engine calculating the prices, the same system settling the bets, maybe even the same live data feeds.
So it's like one source used this image, Burger King and Wendy's using the same kitchen.
Huh. Yeah, basically. It really gets the point across. Different storefronts, same foundation.
That's wild. So the differences you see might just be superficial. Branding.
Often, yes. The core technology, the really complex stuff, can be identical.
And speaking of complex stuff, these providers aren't just offering, like, basic odds anymore, are they?
Oh, definitely not. The tech is getting incredibly advanced. We're talking AI.
AI. How?
Well, AI-powered player profiling. So understanding betting patterns, identifying different types of bettors,
Okay.
and real-time risk management, helping the betting sites manage their financial exposure instantly, plus fraud detection systems.
Ah, okay. And that's where it gets interesting for the person placing the bet, right?
How so?
Because these sophisticated tools, they can lead to things like, getting your bets limited or restricted.
Precisely.
Mm.
If the software flags certain patterns as high risk based on its algorithms, the operator can react very quickly. It helps them manage risk much more effectively than they could manually.
So the tech itself is kind of shaping the betting experience.
Absolutely. And it's always evolving. The sources mentioned some really cutting-edge stuff coming through.
Like what?
Things like virtual reality casinos trying to make it more immersive.
Wow, okay.
Integrating crypto wallets so you can bet using cryptocurrencies.
Right.
The rise of micro-betting, betting on tiny events within a game.
Yeah, I've seen that. Bet on the next point in tennis, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And even machine learning models trying to predict what you personally might want to bet on next. Personalization.
It's nonstop innovation then. Which kind of makes you wonder, why aren't these tech companies shouting from the rooftops? Why aren't they the big names?
Well, the sources suggest it's largely intentional. They want the betting brands, their clients, to be the stars.
Ah, okay.
Their business model works best when they're the powerful, reliable engine in the background. They build the F1 car, but the race team gets the trophy,
That makes sense. They provide the platform, the brand builds the customer relationship.
Right. But their influence is growing significantly.
How's that manifesting?
One major way is the rise of these white label platforms.
White label, meaning?
Think of it like a ready-made, off-the-shelf betting operation. These providers offer a complete package: the software, the odds, the payment processing.
So anyone could just start their own betting brand.
Pretty much, yeah. Relatively quickly and easily because they're essentially leasing this incredibly complex infrastructure. They just put their brand name on it.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the main thing people should take away from this?
I think the key point is just how much complex technology and, frankly, how few core providers might be behind the huge variety of betting sites you see online.
It's this hidden layer that's actually running the show.
Exactly. Which leads to that question posed in the source material.
Right. Ask yourself next time you place a bet.
Who is really behind this platform I'm using?
Because chances are...
it might not be the name on the website.
Yeah. Definitely gives you something to think about. It kind of makes you wonder where else this sort of hidden infrastructure exists, doesn't it? In other apps or websites we use daily.
It's a good point. That invisible tech layer is probably more common than we realize. Something to mull over.